Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, if you're just now coming for the very first time, my name is Penny and I'm a chronic pain sufferer. I debated on whether to get on here and do this video this morning because I haven't gotten in the shower yet. It's taken me forever to get ready these days because I slipped and fell and broke my wrist. It didn't heal properly. They had to go back in and do a little bit of surgery on it. I say a little bit, it was a lot. And so I just went out and watered a few plants and was thinking about the fact that I never told you guys my story as to how or why I have chronic pain or what happened to me or even what type of pain I have. And so you're probably watching some of my other videos and going, well, what's wrong with her? She looks fine. Which is ironically what the entire world says and thinks on a regular basis. Have you ever had that happen to you where you're disabled, you park in the handicapped spot because you know, I don't know if I can make it today. If I can make it, I'll park in a regular spot. But if I'm not sure, then I won't, because quite frankly, I'm tired of sitting down on the middle of the aisle of 13 or 12 or 6 or whatever aisle that I land on and calling my husband and saying, honey, I'm so sorry. Can you come get me? I'm on aisle 6. I thought I could make it. I can't. Went back in for one more thing, or I took a little longer than I thought I was, and I got to the checkout and now I can't get to the car, so I'm sitting up by the customer service desk with all my groceries, or I've left my groceries and I'm sitting up by the customer service office and I can't make it to the car to get home. I can usually tell, about when things are going to shut down and I'm not going to make it, so I'll usually try to make my way to the car at that point. But if not, yeah, that's what happens. So, which is a lot of fun, and I'm sure it's fun for my husband too. He doesn't complain, but like I said in my earlier video, everybody gets tired. Everybody gets tired of you being broken all the time, because I get tired of it. I mean, let's face it, don't you? I mean, we all get tired of having chronic pain and having these issues going on where we can't do what we wanted to do. So, I decided that I finished watering my flowers. I came in, my face is all red, my hair is wet, I got really sweaty, and which is something that happens to me because of the way they have chosen to deal with my pain, and I'll explain that later. But initially, it started out, I'm trying to think how old I was exactly, and you know what, I don't even want to go there because I'm not sure specifically how old I was. I just know this has been going on for about 10 years at least, if not longer. I think it's a little longer because I'm not counting. I'm counting from the first surgery because I know when that was. So basically, I started having pain in my hip, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is that? It really hurts." Well, the week before, or a couple of days before, our Labrador had knocked me down in the backyard, and I had fallen on a piece of limestone, and it had caught me just right on my hip, and like the pointed part hit me just right on my at the joint, right there at the socket where the joint is. So I thought, oh, that's what it is, and I didn't worry about it. So a week or two goes by and it's getting worse and worse, and I'm like really in a lot of pain. I can't sit down, I can't stand up, I can't lay down. I'm just like miserable. So I make an appointment, I go to the doctor, and I'm like, I've hurt my hip. Something's wrong with my hip. It hurts really bad. They do all these x-rays. The doctor comes back in. He goes, there's nothing wrong with your hip. I'm going to have you see the spine specialist because there's something wrong with your back. And I'm like, my back? But my butt hurts. It hurts you know, in my butt, right in that joint. No, it's your back, it's your back. So I went to that doctor. He did an MRI. My MRI was clean for the most part. We all have a little bit of something on our MRI. You know, let's face it, I'm well over 50, so I got a little something on my MRI. But essentially, it was clean. And so he examined me and had me bend backwards and do a bunch of things. And he's like, your back is fine, so I can't help you. And I'm like, okay, well, now what? So he sends me back to the dude that sent me to him. I'm not making this up. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'm telling you, it was like a circus. So then that doctor referred me to someone else, who then referred me to someone else, who then referred me to someone else, who then, I mean, it just kept going. I went to a rheumatologist. I went to an immunologist. I was told, first I was told they thought I had rheumatoid arthritis. Then they told me, I remember calling my mom and telling her, Mom, they think I have lupus. And they told me that on a Friday and ran some tests and said, we'll get back with you on Monday. So for the whole weekend, I thought I had lupus, and I was so upset, and I could think of nothing else. How could you? If someone looks at you and says, I really think you have lupus, we're going to run these tests, we'll get back to you on Monday. And you're like, what? Wait, what? So I'm sure this has happened to somebody else besides me. I'm sure somebody else is out there raising their hand going, yeah, they did that to me too. Well, I don't know what is going on in the medical community today. If it takes longer than 15 minutes, they refer you because they don't want to deal with you because you're a problem case and you're going to take a minute. And so if you're going to take a minute, that's going to bite into their profit margin. So they got to move you on. You got to get out of here, boy. Ooh, get rid of that one. So this went on for 1 year and 4 months. And believe me, I know how long it was because I was laying flat on my back in bed. I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. I literally waited till my husband got home from work every afternoon to even get up and go to the bathroom because I couldn't do it by myself. It was just too much. And, you know, I don't know why he didn't get like a wheelchair or something to sit beside the bed or a walker or something for me to use. This is my ex-husband. I'll just fess that up right now. And I was told by one of my children at one point that, and this is so ugly, I can't even hardly repeat it, but that he told the kids that I was making this up and that I really was okay, that I was doing this for attention because he had not been paying attention to me. Really? Because I enjoy laying in bed all day long for 1 year and 4 months and not eating and taking pain pills and getting sick and, you know, throwing up on myself in bed and not being able to get to the bathroom, and because that's fun for me. And my children were still finishing school. I had one that was out, but I had one that was finishing school, and I was so upset because I felt like I let her down so much because I wasn't there for her like I was for her brother. Sorry, I'm not going to do this. So this went on for, like I said, 1 year and 4 months. Finally, we got transferred to this one doctor who said, I can't help you, but I'm going to transfer you to UCSF in San Francisco because I don't know what's wrong with you, and passing you back and forth from doctor to doctor is wrong. And I thought, oh my God, finally somebody gets it, that this is like I don't know if y'all are trying to meet your quota of transfers, but I think you got it. So, anyways, he transfers me to UCSF in San Francisco. It's been a long time since I've told this story, actually. I usually don't even get into it with anybody because I try not to tell anybody that I have pain, only if they want me to do something that I know I can't do, and I'm like, I can't because my back is all jacked up or whatever. I just say my back is messed up because that's not really what it is. And again, it's coming, I promise. My bangs are driving me nuts. They're itching me. So anyway, I got transferred to UCSF in San Francisco. I met with one doctor. He goes, I'm not sure, but I want you to see this other doctor. And I was like, oh God, here we go again. Why? So he sends me over to this other doctor who's a little bit kooky, but he walks in the room. He asks me a couple of questions. He has me walk up and down the hall. He asked me some more questions, and he goes, are you up for doing a little test today? Because I think I know what's the matter with you, but I have to do something. We're going to have to inject you with some dye, and then I'm going to inject you with something else. And he didn't tell me what it was. I think because he said, I want to do a blind test, and I don't want you to know what we're doing because I want to know if it really helps you or not. So I was like, fine, whatever. I guess he told my husband. I'm sure he did because he had to sign for him. So he took me in. He did the dye. He took me in under, I think it's called a CAT scan. And he gave me an injection. And he gave me an injection through my butt, like almost to where that joint was. And I remember it was just a little bit of time after he did it. All of a sudden, I just felt this huge amount of relief just wash over my whole body because the pain just like washed away. And I just started crying. I mean, I was just crying tears of joy because it had been so long since I had been comfortable, you know, in the very least. So they pull me out of the CAT scan. I'm crying. He's like, oh my gosh, what's the matter, you know? And I'm like, I'm just overwhelmed because it whatever you did, it stopped the pain. So can we just do that? What do we need to do? I'll take that shot. I'll come back and get it, you know. And he goes, well, this is only temporary. That was just lidocaine that we shot in there. And he goes, but I wanted to see if I was right. And it is that your muscle, when you fell, you irritated that muscle. It became inflamed, and it has been, here we go, and it has been increasing and swelling with the inflammation, and it's pressing against your sciatic nerve. And so it's causing all that pain down your leg, and why you can't move your foot, because it's compressing that nerve. So I'm like, okay, so what do we do, you know? So this is my morning coffee, my tea. So anyway, he says, well, we'll have to do surgery. And I'm like, you know, what kind of surgery? Well, at that point, you know, my husband looked at me and said, what choice do we have? Because you can't live this way, so you may as well. Because when he told me all the ramifications of the surgery, it just scared the hell out of me because it was really bad, you know. Well, fast forward, we did the surgery. I think I was in there 6 hours or something like that. And they dissected, or they call it a resection, or no, a dissection, I think, of the sciatic nerve. And they trimmed that muscle and did some other things in there to make room or whatever, and closed me up. And I woke up and I was just in the most horrible pain you can imagine. Well, they had cut me from the middle of my back, and this is no lie. They cut me from the middle of my back all the way around the top of my back, around the side of my body to where the joint was, then up underneath my bottom and down my leg. So it was kind of like a big C with a little stick on the end. I had 67 staples to close me up. My daughter counted them. She was like, Mom, there's so many staples, because they sent me home after 2 days, and you know, oh, be careful about infection, and you know, do this, do this, do this, do this, and so that was that. And so we had to clean and dress the wound every single day. It took forever to heal. I could hardly even go in to go to the bathroom. It hurt so badly because it would pull, and it was terrible. And not too long ago, I watched a video that Kat Von D did about her tattoos, and she had a tattoo that went, I guess, underneath her butt down there, and she said that that was the most painful thing she'd ever experienced, that area is very, very tender, and that she didn't even finish the tattoo, and she didn't think she wanted to because it was so painful. And I get you, Kat, because it is. It's very painful down there. So anyways, fast forward, I heal. It's time to get the staples out. Every time we went to UCSF, we waited hours before we could ever get in to be seen. So my doctor tells us, well, you know, you can have your regular doctor take, well, it's the PA actually that told me that. You can have your regular doctor take your staples out. You don't have to come all the way back down here. So I'm like, okay. So my regular doctor takes the staples out. He struggles underneath that bottom part. I mean, he struggles, and it's so terrible. And I swear, I'm just eating the pillow. And finally, he sees me, and I've got tears streaming down my face, and I've got half the pillow down my throat, and he's like, am I hurting you? I'm like, no, I always eat pillows for breakfast. They're like marshmallows. No, I didn't say that to him. I just said, yeah, you're killing me, actually. And he goes, oh my God, why didn't you say something? I can deaden the area, you know, whatever. And I'm thinking, God, you're digging around down there like you're, I don't know what, digging for gold, and you can't grab the staple. Yeah, you're killing me. So he deadens it, finally gets all the staples out, and we go home, and I'm thinking, okay, things are going to get so much better, and everything's going to be great, and I'm going to get better, and oh no, no. I was still dragging my foot. I was still struggling to walk. I still couldn't sit down for very long. Everything that was wrong with me before was still wrong with me. Not to the extent that it was wrong before, but it was still wrong. So things had improved a little bit, but I still was jacked up. I mean, I was a mess. So I called down there to the doctor, and I couldn't get him. So I talked to the PA, and her response to me was, and I quote, well, if you think about how bad you were when you came in here, you're a heck of a lot better than when you left. So I don't know. I don't understand what the problem is. You what? You're done? That's it? That's your sales pitch? You're done. I'm better than when I came in. So I left better than I came in. So that's good for you, and you're all good to go, and you're on to the next. I'm like, holy crap. So I ended up going back to our regular doctor, and somehow, I don't know how this happened, but my husband's insurance changed. we ended up switching to Kaiser. I lived in California at the time. Praise the Lord for that happening. I am not kidding. And I hear people say all kinds of bad things about Kaiser constantly. Because we had Kaiser in Dallas and it was supposedly really bad. I don't know. But Kaiser in California has got it going on. They've got it together. I wish that every other facility here in Dallas could go down there, study their, office plan and implement it, because things would be so much better and people would have really good care and you wouldn't sit in the doctor's office all day long. And I mean, they really do have it together and they really have figured it out. So they ended up transferring me to their pain clinic, which initially I was upset about because I was like, look, I just need help. I don't need, they signed me up for all these classes and I was like, I can't sit in class. So it was required that I go to these classes in order to be part of the pain clinic, in order to get any help. That's about how I felt about it. And I was mad. I was not happy about it. And I was throwing a tantrum about it. But you know what? It was the best thing that ever happened to me. Best thing ever. I took a sleeping bag and I literally laid on the floor through every class. They taught me all kinds of different things you can do to drop your pain level, alleviate your pain, make yourself feel better, just down the line. One of the things which I never knew this, but I know now, and I use it a lot. There's two things I use a lot that they taught me. Did you know that when you're in a lot of pain, if you can go to sleep and take a nap, that it can drop your pain as much as 50%? Because your body shuts down and it shuts everything down. And so you can actually drop your pain level by taking a nap. Seriously. And it works. It really works. And when they told me that, I thought, they are crazy as I don't know what. They're just crazy as hell. But it works. Also, ice. Ice is your best friend for pain. But I will tell you, be careful, because I got frostbite from icing too long. 20 minutes. 20 minutes on, 20 minutes off. And that's the truth. And if you do it more than that, you will get frostbite. And you will have to go to the doctor. And just thank the good Lord I didn't kill everything, all the tissues back here on my backside, putting ice on it for too long. They caught it early. I mean, I could tell, I could feel that something was going on back there. And I'm sorry, my dogs are barking. And I went into the doctor and she was like, oh my goodness. She goes, it looks like you have frostbite, but I just don't know how that could be. And she had called another doctor in to look, and they were both standing there looking at each other, and I'm like, what's the matter? And they were like, well, it looks like you have frostbite, but there's no way it could be frostbite, and we can't figure out what else it could be. And I'm like, oh yeah, it could, because I put ice back there all the time. And they're like, do what? And I explained to them, yeah, see that big scar, blah, blah. So anyway, that's kind of a funny story to all of this, was they were trying to figure out how in the hell I had frostbite on my butt on one side and how that could have possibly happened. And she called someone in as a consult because they couldn't figure out what. And then they ended up calling in some students to show them what frostbite looked like, because they don't see that every day. So yeah, so a bunch of people got to look at my behind. But anyway, it's another story. I I don't think it was anything thrilling. It looks like Frankenstein back there. So anyway, got me fixed up, and fast forward again, and I'm like determined. I'm like, I am going to walk again. I am going to be okay. I am going to stop dragging my foot. They had even sent me to a specialist who had this device that you wrap it around your right underneath your knee, and it when you take a step, it shocks your muscles and lifts your foot up for you. Because at the moment, what I was doing was I was putting this kind of boot, plastic boot thing on my foot that went up underneath my foot, and putting my shoe on, and it was holding my foot up. My foot was held up by this piece of plastic whenever I took a step, so that I didn't trip. So anyways, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna deal with this, and I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna fix it myself, because nobody else is helping me. They sent me to physical therapy, but everything they did, because they were not trained for what had happened to me, and they didn't know what to do, because all the irritation to that nerve back there, my sciatic nerve, it runs right down your backside. It runs down your back, and then it runs across your butt and then down your leg. Well, all the things they were trying to get me to do, like strengthen my leg and lift it and do this and do that, it was moving that nerve, and it was causing irritation. It was just making it crazy. So they kicked me out of physical therapy basically, and said, you know, we just need not to irritate it anymore, irritate it any further. We're just going to remove you from physical therapy, because there's not anything that we can do for you. So I just started walking on my own. I had a walker with 2 tennis balls hooked on the back, just like Grandma, who's 90, out in East Texas, and you know, whatever. So I just started walking. I'd just take off walking. I'd get up every day, I'd get myself dressed, and I would get my walker, and I would go on a walk every single day. And the doctor had told me I could walk a little bit, but he didn't know I was walking like almost a mile and coming home and just kind of dragging my leg, but I was doing it. And when I told him how far I was walking, he was like, you're still trying to heal. I didn't mean for you to walk that far. And I'm like, need to be specific, I guess. You need to tell people, because you said I could walk. You didn't say don't walk more than, you know. If you don't put any stipulations on there, one thinks that everything's fine and you can just go for a walk for as long as you can walk. So I cut back a little bit on the walking. Not a whole lot. I still kind of did my little walk because it made me feel better. And finally got a little better. And then I'm in the pain clinic. I've gone through I think it was an 8-week course. Not sure. 6 or 8 weeks. It was a long time laying on that floor. So went through that, and finally this other doctor, they came to me and presented, well, they gave me Botox injections first in my butt. I didn't really do anything. Then they presented a stimulation device, because they were giving me, I don't know how many milligrams of synthetic morphine every day. And I was just like, I didn't even know what day it was. It was miserable. So they did the trial stimulation test on me. I passed. They installed the stimulation device, and back then Medtronic was the only person in the game. This was new technology. And they installed this piece of equipment, and basically, here's the boiled down version, quick version, is that, my dog's having a fit over here, I don't know what he's doing. the boiled down version and the easy, quick version is this device. They put these little razor rod kind of things down your back and leads, and then what happens is the pain signal is intercepted and turned into a vibration, basically, essentially. It's a lot more technical than that, but essentially that's what happens. And it will reduce your pain, can reduce your pain as much as 50%. It didn't quite do 50% for me, but it did help a lot. So I'm like, oh my goodness, yay, yay, yay. They installed it, you know, and the first thing I said when I come out of surgery was, okay, when do I get to get off all this medication? Because I thought that it was going to just fix everything, but I was very confused because that's not what was happening. So he goes, well, don't stop just yet because, you know, not wanting to dampen my spirit, I guess. He didn't tell me, well, you're still going to be on medication the rest of your life. So that worked really well. I did get to reduce my medication just a little bit, but I still was on a lot of medication. And I don't handle medication very well. I generally take half of an aspirin or half of a Tylenol or half of a Motrin because whatever it is affects me, makes me very, very sleepy, very, very tired, or I get sick, literally get sick. Because they had tried some other things. They tried a patch on me. They tried some other things. They put this patch on me. I was sick for 3 days until that all got out of my system. I mean, it was crazy. So, trying to think where I was. I lost my place. And that happens a lot too. So anyways, they installed this unit. Everything was all hunky-dory. And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, it was at that point that my marriage was just... So I got on a plane and came back to Dallas. Because I was like, I just can't. I'm not going to get well like this. This isn't going to work. So I came back to Dallas. Got a new doctor. His name is Dr. Rax, by the way. It's R-A-C-Z, and I highly recommend him. He's amazing. Amazing doctor. So I start seeing him, and shortly after I start seeing him, we start talking about the fact that, you know, I'm allergic to everything. We can't seem to get the dosage to cover my pain. And the fact that I'm just, you know, I don't even know what day it is. And it was at that point that my fiance then went with me and was like, this ain't happening. She can't even, this is like, Because I went through a couple of other doctors before I finally found Dr. Rax. So, I'm trying to give you guys the shortened version, which there is no shortened version, but anyway. So, Dr. Rax recommended that they install a med pump, and that would do two things. It would cut down on my medication, and also the narcotics would be taken away orally completely, and they would drip down my spine and bypass my organs, which that made me happy because I worry about, you know, everything I'm putting in my body. So we went ahead with that. We said, yes, let's do it. Went ahead with that. Well, of course, as luck would have it, I had complications with mine. A lot of inflammation and swelling and a little bit of an infection. And anyways, it didn't go exactly as planned, and it took me, I would say it took a good year before I was completely recovered and good to go from that surgery. But it helped a lot. I completely got off of the morphine, which, hallelujah, praise the Lord. That was huge. I was still taking the Lyrica, but not as much. And I still had to have a I still had to have a muscle relaxer because for some reason, I guess because of the nerve damage, this leg, the muscles just tighten up and it's just miserable. They tighten up so badly that you can't even function. It's almost like a constant Charlie horse or something. So anyways, now fast forward to today. I'm doing so much better. Things are so much better. I just got a new stimulation device that's brand new. It's called a Nevro. And that particular device doesn't, the one I had before vibrates. Like you feel it anytime it does its thing. It's like bzz, bzz, bzz on the inside of your body. But the new one that is installed, the Nevro, is silent. It doesn't make any noise. It doesn't do any vibrations. You don't feel it. It just works. That was very difficult to adjust to after living for 5-6 years with the other one. And now to move to this one in November, I'm really just now getting acclimated to that one because it took me a while to understand. It's kind of like a therapy in a way, and it makes it better. So like one time I called and I said, it's hurting and I'm hurting and I think I need you to look at the unit or make an adjustment or whatever. And the lady she's my rep, she tells me, turn it down, just one, turn it down one. And I'm like, turn it down? I just told you I'm in pain. And she's like, trust me, turn it down. Because remember, this is like a therapy. It's not like the other one. So maybe you don't need as much anymore because it's doing its thing. So I turned it down. And the other thing is it takes 12 hours. And if anybody wants to know more about these pieces of equipment that I have installed in my body, I'm happy to go into that on another video. Just let me know in the comments below what you want to know in particular, and I'm happy to tell you, what I went through, how it feels, the recovery, everything. So anyways, I turn it down, and it takes 12 hours. Whatever adjustments you make to it, it takes 12 hours. I turn it down. I wake up the next day. I'm fine. I mean, I'm not pain-free. I'm never going to be pain-free. But I consider pain at or below 4 a great day on a scale of 1 to 10. If I don't make it to 5 every single day, I'm like, woohoo! It's a banner day. So, because I'm just used to it now. It just is what it is. And it's not going to change unless stem cell therapy maybe corrects what's going on with me. I don't know. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to worry about how Penny is going to make it from day to day to day with her pain. And how she's going to handle it. And what I'm going to be able to accomplish when I'm in pain. And still have a life that is a good quality of life, and still be able to do some things. I know I can't do everything, but I can do some things, and I want to do some things. You have to have some joy in your life. You have to find something that makes you happy that you're still able to do, and do that. Right? So that's what I try to do every single day. So that's where I'm at right now. I have a Nevro stimulation device installed. And then I think Medtronic is my pump for my med pump is by Medtronic. And once every 3 months, they tap into my stomach with this big needle and draw out any medication that is left and insert any medication that I need for over the next 3 months. And then it's programmed. Then I have a remote, and I can give myself kind of like a little injection. Like if my pain shoots up and I need it, I can give myself a bolus, is what they call it. So that's where I am. That's my story, my backstory, how I got to where I am. And the pain that I have is caused from my sciatic nerve because it's damaged in 4 places. It was compressed against my pelvic bone for over a year. And what I was told was, and this is how the doctor explained it to me at UCSF. If you took your car, honey, and he said, honey, if you took your car, honey, and you drove it over your water hose in your driveway, and you left it there for a year and 4 months, and then you came home and you backed your car off the hose, you could go out there and you could pinch the hose and decompress, you know, the places where you had the car sitting on the hose. However, there would always be these demarcations and little places where the water comes through and goes zzz, 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 wherever the car was parked on the hose. So, in essence, you are the car and your nerve is the hose. And I'm like looking at him going, yeah, I got that part. Doctors, you gotta love them. Either that or you'll maybe get a fork off your tray at the hospital and stab them. So anyway, that's where I'm at. Let me know where you are. What's going on with you? I have pain for my sciatic nerve, which I'm told that's the most painful thing that you can get going on in your body. I don't know, because I don't know whatever else is going on with everybody else. So I don't know. But I do know it generates a lot of pain. I know it can bring me to my knees. I know it can stop me in my tracks where I can do nothing else. I just can't, because it's so bad. So that's how I got to be disabled and where I am. And I try to live every day. I take it day by day, and I try to live every day doing at least one thing that I enjoy to try to make myself happy. Because if you can't be happy, then what else is there? But you can't let the pain, consume you. And it's so hard. It's so hard not to do that. Because there are days, let me tell you, there are days that I just want to throw in the towel and go, screw this, I'm done. I've had enough. This is enough. I've had enough. 10 years is enough. I don't want to do this anymore. But you can't do that. Because what is it that you're going to do? Jump off a bridge? I don't recommend that. I don't recommend that at all. And, you know, I mean, I've got children. I've got grandbabies. I've got a husband. I've got puppies that depend on me every day. And I highly, highly recommend, just like I said in my other video, if you have pain, you have to have a pet. You just have to. If you are able to take care of it and love it and feed it, and if you're completely incapacitated and you can't deal with it at all, then no, don't do that to the pet. But if you're able to take care of it, I highly recommend having a dog. or a cat, or a bird, or a fish. That's what you're into. But if I didn't have my little guys running around here during the day, and it was just me and these four walls constantly, oh my Lord, I can tell you right now, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd probably be in the loony bin. Because, you know, you have to have a purpose. And, you know, you've always heard that. What's your purpose? What's your purpose? What's your purpose? You hear that in church all the time. What's your purpose in life? What's your gift? What's your calling? Whatever you call it. What is your passion? What is your talent? What is it that you do that you are still capable of doing in your condition? What is that? Now, I had to completely change mine because there are things that I can't do now. I was outside watering, so the grass has got my nose all stopped up. But there are the things that I was doing were not things that I could continue to do. So I had to like redirect myself and get myself a new purpose. So I started watercolor painting. I started knitting was the first thing I did, which was crazy to me because my grandmother tried to teach me to knit like years and years ago, and I just wasn't having it. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's for old people. Well, it's come back into fashion and it's cool, and there's all these new threads, and you know, man, I was making everything for everybody. When I had my first grandbaby, I must have made her 25 little beanies. I don't know if she ever wore them, but that's another story. But yeah, so knitting was the first thing I did because I still had my hands. And I can't remember what exactly came after that. I painting, sewing, gosh, I just kind of dabbled in everything I could. And I do makeup, so that was always that one was always out there. But you know, I couldn't travel anymore. So if someone wanted makeup, I couldn't travel and do their makeup. I couldn't, you know, so that was that. So it kind of, it just everything changed, but not. And I don't know, I'm thankful that I finally went to Kaiser and got the stem. And then I'm thankful that I came to Dallas and they put that pump in. Because my quality of life now is so much better than it was. 100 times better than it was. And I don't ever want to regress and go backwards again. Which, when they put this new stem device in, they did that because my stem had stopped working, and I panicked. I was like, oh God, you know, what, you know, I just went into the doctor immediately, and I was like, oh, it's not working, I'm having problems, it's doing this, it's doing that, it's like, the pain's ramping up, I'm just, you know, ooh, I can't do this. I don't know, it seems like when they get your pain under control a little bit, if it comes back, it seems like it's worse. And I know that it isn't, but I think when you get a little reprieve and then it comes back, it's just, ooh, it's bad. Bad. Because I think you toughen yourself up and you just wake up with that every day and you're like, okay, here we go. I mean, mine used to be, I didn't even want to touch my feet on the floor. No. Oh, it hurt so bad. But Things are so much better now. So I'm going to stop this right here because I'm kind of rambling. I'm going to stop this right here. If there are things that you want to know, if you have questions for me, please put them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, honestly, and I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. So if you have a question, you're going to get the down and dirty. It's not going to be, oh, it's not so bad, you know, do this, do this, do this. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to tell you whether I would or would not do whatever it is you're asking. I'm going to be honest. Now, everybody's different, but I'm going to tell you the truth for me. So please put your questions in the comments below. In your, you know, anything you have to say, whatever. Let's have a discussion. If you just want to talk about what's going on with you, I'm happy to do that. And then, yeah, subscribe so you know when I put a video up out here. But let's be here for one another. I know I'm not the only person that is suffering and has this kind of pain. And there needs to be some place for us to go to talk to other people who have the same kind of pain going on, that absolutely 100% without a doubt understand when you say, I'm in so much pain I can't stand it, that they go, oh my gosh, I know, right? I know how you feel. I'm so sorry. And you know that they do know, and that they are sorry, and that they're not just saying that out of habit, because it becomes rote after a while. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know, I know, I know. I'm sorry. I know, I know. So put your comments down below. And like I said before, this is just my backstory. I want this to be a happy place for us to come and talk and uplift one another, not be sad, not be, I mean, there's going to be days that those kinds of things go on with someone, and someone gets on here and they're upset or they're tired or they're, you know, whatever. And we'll be here to lift you up. But I want this to be a place of rescue, relief, a place you go to for answers, to be heard, and for a hug if you need one. Okay? So I'm going to let you go. Bye. And as always, love you so much. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed. Subscribe. And I will talk to you soon. Be good. Be blessed. Be happy. Be safe. And keep the faith. Okay? Bye, guys.